review. Yeah, little issues, but we are back on live. So it's been one tough day today. So let's go ahead and see if we're on Facebook. Make sure our audio is on. So we're going to make sure the audio is on before we start. Facebook, make sure our audio is on. Audio's good. So thanks once again for being patient if you're in here. I know it's a pain in the ass that we got to fix this, but it has to be fixed. So once again, we are doing Saints preview. So let me go ahead and switch over. We're going to do a game recap from last Sunday's game against the Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to switch this camera over, and I'm going to put it on my screen so you can see it. So here it is. We're going to recap scoring plays. Okay, the scoring plays for the Lions. It was a 2-yard run for a touchdown. That was with 6:44 remaining. It was 7-0, and then Minnesota scored again on a 5-yard pass play that took 13:38 off the clock. Also at 8:50, the Adam Thielen had a 1-yard pass for a touchdown, made it 14-7. Then Cook had a 4-yard run that was with 1:12 remaining. Also, Seibert had a 40-yard field goal. Jamel Williams had a 13-yard touchdown run that was on with 2:08 in the third quarter. And also, Alexander Madison had a 6-yard run for a touchdown. Then the Vikings had a 20-yard touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins. That was in last Sunday's game. So it was final score was 24. Okay, and the game last Sunday stats, first downs, Minnesota had 30 first downs. Rushing yards, they had 123 on 25 carries. They threw for 260 yards, 24-41, and only two touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. They also had 250 net yards. Total was 373. Also, third downs, they went 2 for 9 in that game, and 1 for 2 on fourth down conversions. So that was in the game last Sunday. Also, time of possession, the Minnesota Vikings had the ball for 25 minutes and 56 seconds. So that was in the game last Sunday. Okay, the points, Minnesota had 1136 on passing. They also had minus 278 on runs, and it was a total of 1158. That was the Lions. The Vikings had 825. They had 9-1 plus 915 on passes, and 243 on runs. So the turnover rate was minus 412. So that was in the game last Sunday. Let's give you the stats on the on Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna give you those stats in a second. Okay, Kirk Cousins. So let's give you those numbers. I'll give you those numbers in just a second. Okay, no, that's Dalvin Cook. We're gonna give Kirk Cousins in there. No, it wasn't Dalvin. Okay, I'm gonna Okay, that's let's see. Now it's the wrong stats. That's Kurt, not Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna refresh it. Sorry about that, folks. I'm gonna refresh it. Okay, Kirk Cousins, 24, 41, 260, 2 touchdowns. His quarterback rating was 93.5. He only had 1 rush. That was in the game last Sunday, so that was against the Detroit Lions defense. Now we'll give you Dalvin Cook's numbers. I'm going to give you his numbers as well, so I'm going to pull those up as well. Okay, Dalvin Cook, 17 carries, 96 yards. He only fumbled the ball 1 time in the game, so that was 1 time for Dalvin Cook. So that's in last Sunday's game. Also, we'll give you the wide receiver numbers. I'm going to go ahead and give you those in just a second. So this is on advanced rushing right here. Dalvin Cook had 17 carries. His yak yards was 36. He also had a first down 7. Okay, Alexander Madison had 7 carries for 28 yards in a game last Sunday. And also Kirk Cousins. Now, wide receivers, Amos Ross St. Brown, he had 9 catches for 6 catches for 73. Reynolds had 6 catches for 96. No, this is Minnesota. Sorry about that. Okay, Adam Thielen had 6 catches for 61. Osborne had 5 catches for 73 yards. Justin Jefferson had 3 catches for 14 yards. Johnny Mutt had 2 catches for 23 yards in that game last Sunday. He was targeted 2 times. So the main one was targeted was Osborne, Thielen, and Jefferson was targeted those many times in the game last Sunday. Their rating was his was 191.4. Thielen's was 135.9. Osborne 131.8, and Jefferson 56.2 in last Sunday's game. So that was in last Sunday's game. I'll give you the okay, let's give you the drives. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the drives on this game. Okay, these were your drives right here. For the Vikings, had 7 plays and 24 yards on a missed field goal. Then the next one, they had 5 plays, 16 yards. Then the touchdowns, 11 plays, 80 yards. And next one was 9 plays and 49 yards. And they had a missed field goal that was on 9 plays, 39 yards in the game. Also, they had a fumble that was on 3 plays and 18 yards. And also, they had a punt that was on 3 plays, 7 yards. And then a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It was on 6 plays, 57 yards. And then 3 plays and 56 yards. So 57 yards on that touchdown and 56 on the on play number drive number 12. So that was in last Sunday's ball game versus the Lions. So once again, that's your Okay, let's give you your snap counts. Okay, your snap counts for the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins was on the field 100%. He had 72 snap counts. Adam Thielen 70. Osborne 54. Cook 44. Ivan Smith had 51. 37 and then 51% on the field. Johnny Munt had 28 snap count, 39%, and Matson had a snap count of 28 and also 39%. That was in last Sunday's game. Also, Ham had he was on the special teams. He was on there on 16 snaps for 57 yards. That was in the games last Sunday. So that was in last Sunday's ball game. So that is your recap of what happened with the Minnesota Vikings last Sunday's game. So we will go ahead and play coaches' press conferences. I'm going to go ahead and play Dennis Allen. I'm also going to play Kevin O'Connor, and we're going to do a film breakdown for the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to do that in a second. So if you're in here, you have any questions, I'll put them in the Facebook comment section so we can see those questions. Okay, let's go ahead and play Dennis Allen.
Don't lose yours when building an online store. Use Shopify's perfect.
Yeah, so first day of practice out here, I thought we had a good practice. We're just still trying to kind of get used to a little bit of the timing issues and the transportation, things of that nature. But overall, I think it was good first day.
Dennis, what was the reason why Jameis was not at your practice today?
Really, it's more just trying to rest and trying to make sure he's healthy. I anticipate that he'll be back out there tomorrow.
As you talked about the time, how tough is these guys
Yeah, it's not easy. I think it's a difficult transition. I think that's one of the reasons why we feel it's important to get over here early and try to get it adjusted to the time as quickly as you possibly can. And so I think each day we'll get a little bit more comfortable with it.
Dennis, what are some of your impressions of the Vikings defense right now, kind of the job they put on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the better fronts that we played against. I think they do a really good job of, getting after the passer with four rushers. They play a lot of coverage. I think they do a really good job. I think they're well coached. I think they got a lot of good players.
Have you guys been able to put your finger on any of the reasons why maybe it starts on offense? Faster, maybe?
I think it's just consistency, and it's not shooting ourselves in the foot. Look, like I said, last week we started off, moved the ball right down the field, and then we had a penalty which set us behind the chains, and we haven't been able to overcome those things. So we just got to get more consistent in what we're doing.
Any updates on the receiver role with Mike Jarvis and those guys?
No, Jarvis was limited today. We'll see where he's at tomorrow. Mike was out. We're going to really, with all those guys, we'll take it day by day. And I know everybody that we have on the injury report's working extremely hard to get themselves back out there. So hopefully they'll be out there sooner rather than later. But the train keeps moving. So.
What's the mood of the team been like with this transition coming off of something else?
I think it's been good. I think we're excited and anxious about getting back out on the field. and getting a chance to play again. So I think it's been overall pretty good.
Is there any adjustments you've got to make? I think that was good play for another player Sunday.
Well, I don't know that schematically there'll be a lot of adjustments being made. We'll just have to see whether he does play or not, and if he does or doesn't, then we'll have to adjust accordingly. I don't think there's anything that we kind of go into the game, with two different game plans. I think we have a game plan to defend the offense, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Justin Jefferson been kept quiet in the last couple of games for the Vikings. Have you learned anything from the way the Eagles and the Lions reacted to him and keeping quiet?
Yeah, look, he's a hell of a player, and so you got to give a lot of attention to him. They move him around in the formation. They do a lot of different things with him, and so look, you certainly have to understand where he's at and what they're trying to do with him. But it's a difficult challenge to try to limit a player of his ability.
Coach, what is Kirk Cousins' look like in this offense when you have obviously a guy you see?
Yeah, he looks really good. I think the offense fits him. I think he does a good job with the run play action game that they like to utilize. You can see him operate the offense. You can see him making the checks and adjustments at the line of scrimmage. So, look, I think it's one of the better, offenses that we'll see.
That is the biggest quarterback stats is. That looks like a touchdown case.
Well, I think that was a little bit of the plan all along as we kind of started this whole process, is that eventually, he'd begin to get some more reps in the quarterback room. And so, yeah, that's kind of part of the plan. Not really. Again, that was part of the plan, from the very beginning, and certainly he had some injuries in training camp, and it kind of limited the amount that we were able to kind of move him back and forth between rooms. So, that'll be a spot that we continue to get him some reps at.
How are you kind of dividing up?
Yeah, we're just practicing.
Jameis has said that his back will get better week by week. Is this a step back? Is this something you guys are going to have to
No, well, look, I mean, I can't tell you exactly how the healing process goes. We felt like today was a good day to give him a rest day and try to get him a little bit of recovery, and I think he'll, anticipate that he'll be back out there tomorrow.
Is there concern for this weekend about his availability?
I don't think so.
Coach, are there any unique opportunities to get as a head coach kind of being around the players kind of 24/7 for a full week like this?
Unique opportunities? Well, look, I mean, I enjoy being in this environment. I enjoy, getting away with the football team and really getting a chance to just spend, a week, 24 hours a day, really focusing on football. So, yeah, I think that's good for all of us. Probably a little bit of a product of the games that we've been in. Certainly with his ribs last week, he was a little bit limited as to how much we could utilize him. So look, I think all those things get sorted out as you get going throughout the season. We're 3 games in right now, and so we're going to kind of let the process play out.
And the season was 15 and 17, obviously, when you guys were over here and won, and that kind of like springed over that season went on for that 8 games. Do you feel like a win here could probably maybe something could be sparked for this team, with the success here?
Yeah, look, I think winning cures a lot of things, and so yeah, I think that could help springboard some things. But really, that's not where my focus is right now. My focus is just the preparation, getting ourselves ready to go try to win a game.
Dennis, your history of spending a week places, though, isn't just about acclimation. It seems like you guys have always had great success in that, whether it was Seattle a couple of years ago or London trips or even the hurricane evacuation. Did that go into your thinking as much as the sleep schedule and like we like taking the team and and bunkering up?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of it. Like I said before, this is, I enjoy doing this. I love football. I love being around these guys. We get a chance to focus on really not much other than football, and I think that's beneficial for our team. It's just a regular week. Not a lot of tourism going on.
Were you able to break down film like on the plane, that long ride over here?
No, I slept along the way over here, and then when we got here, we got to work. And so that's pretty normal. Day after the game, I go home, I go to bed, get a decent night's sleep, get up the next morning, go to work, and that's really what we did.
Is your body sleep adjusted?
I'm getting there.
But it does seem extremely business-like here. I mean, what is the vibe that you're sensing with the players outside your staff?
Yeah, I think business-like approach. I think we have a mature group. I think our guys understand what we need to do, and I think I think we've always kind of taken a business-like approach.
Do you feel like you've lost your own message, or is it playing your favor?
Yeah, I think the team that handles this transition is a team that's going to have the most success on Sunday. So it's not easy on either team making this travel like this, but we all have to deal with it, and the team that handles that transition the best will have the most success on Sunday.
Kind of supposed to know that in the wild, you coached them in the past. So what about it? Things changed over there? Is that coach excited about it?
Yeah, I don't know that I see that a whole lot's changed. I think it's good for the game in terms of growing the game. I think it's difficult on the teams, but I think it's good overall for the league and for growing our game. Okay, guys, thanks.
Okay, let's go over to Kevin O'Connor.
Stream 85 plus live channels with no hidden fees. YouTube TV. Try it free.
When you live with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, your day can be full of reminders of your condition.
All right, guys. Obviously, getting ready to roll here. As normal of a Wednesday, as we can have, we'll do a little bit of extra meetings post practice that we normally would build in tomorrow. So just to get a little bit of a jump on the rest of the plan. Obviously, coming off of a important home win for us last week, really. A lot to come out of that game that we're working on to improve. At the same time, try to build some momentum, knowing we're playing a really, really good team, and obviously that present a ton of challenges in all three phases, and obviously getting ready to go for our travel and the trip out to London. But excited about the opportunity, and with that, we'll open it up to you guys.
Kevin, will you try to practice Dalvin at all this week, or is he?
Yeah, one more time.
Will you try to practice Dalvin at all this week?
Yeah, we'll take it a day at a time. It's probably safe to assume that we'll give him a rest day today, and kind of just see where he's at throughout the week. I know he's feeling better and better, and Tyler and Uriah are doing a great job. A lot of treatment, just trying to get him in a place where we can get him some work, and then ultimately give him a chance to go out there and feel good on Sunday.
Mind if a guy doesn't practice for health reasons, and then can you still play him Sunday, or do you want
I
him to
think
practice?
it's case by case, just trying to make sure we are looking out for the best interests of, the player. And Dalvin's played a lot of ball, and kind of, I think he feels pretty good about schematically kind of where he's, where he fits into things, and obviously the importance of getting him some touches and a rhythm in a game. But at the same time, I do think all players, it is a real bonus if you can get them some work. We'll use some of the walkthrough time. We'll use some of that throughout the week with a little bit of a unique schedule, Kevin, to kind of any of our guys that coming out of the game that might need a little bit more of that extra time, we'll try to find a way.
Zadarius Smith, is he good to go and everything?
Yeah, he came out of the game a little sore, but we're kind of along the same timeline with Zadarius as Dalvin, just kind of day to day. And guys played a lot of ball for us early on in the year, expecting him to, just go through the week and process, knowing we've got a lengthy travel on Thursday. There'll be a lot of opportunities both on the flight and then obviously when we get there to continue treatment and then try to get him ready to go.
And Kevin, because the crowd's so different in these European games, does it feel like a home game or an away game?
No, probably just a neutral site. I'm expecting to see a lot of Vikings fans there. I really am. But at the same time, I've been to the Superdome before, so to get to play them in what's considered a road game for us, but not playing in that environment there that they tend to play really well. At the Superdome, it's a benefit I think for us at the same time. But I look at it like once that ball's kicked outside of some crowd noise, it's who can execute, who can go through the week of preparation and in week 4 here and be at their best.
What kind of luxury is it having a guy like Alexander Madison for when Dalvin isn't available?
Yeah, I've talked to you guys a lot about kind of truly feeling pretty fortunate to have a running back room set up the way we do with multiple skill sets, but the depth of guys that can go in. And I mean, Alex's touchdown run there in the second half is just an example of his ability to just not be denied. And I think he broke about 4 tackles on the play and finished on his feet in the end zone. He's had some real downhill physical runs for us, getting his pads going forward. And I think a lot of, both Dalvin and Alex's success the other day can be attributed to those guys up front, the tight ends on the edges. I expect the Saints to have a very, very good run defense. They always have. They've got really, really good players up front. 2 backers that I've got a ton of respect for, and then DBs that are willing to get up in that fit and make it hard for you. It's going to take all 11 to run the ball against these guys, but having those 2 guys and having Alex definitely helps. Knowing that Dalvin's going to be a little bit slower throughout the week building up to the game.
We'll talk about how some of the offensive linemen, they won't even know who's running because of Dalvin and Alexander. So it's similar. How important is that to be able to not change calls?
I think it's a great point you make, and it's cool to hear the linemen talk about that. We haven't really, in depth talked about that. They just know when I mention one, I mention the other. Talking about the plan, talking about our confidence in them to go execute the plan. But yeah, that is our scheme, how we want to run the ball, how we want to play on first and second down. We feel really good about either one of those guys in there, for sure.
Talking with Tyler this morning, what do you like about the aspects of the short window trip as opposed to what the Saints are doing, having already been there for a couple days?
Yeah, I think what I like about it is just, all of our dialogue and in-house here, both with Tyler and our staff, but then also a lot of the people we consulted with and Tyler consulted with outside of our building, experts that have helped either other teams or maybe Tyler at his previous stop. I feel like we've got a clean-cut, clear plan. I feel like we can present it to our players, understanding it's never going to be perfect, but everything we do is for them and about having them feel as close to their best as we possibly can every single time that 3.5-hour window starts, wherever that is, each and every week. So I feel good about our plan. I know it's been dialed in for a while, and we're kind of just in the phase of just making it come to life.
Kevin, when you look at your defense being 9th in points allowed, 30th in yards allowed, how do you evaluate how they're doing when you think of those 2 numbers that are telling sort of opposite stories?
Yeah, I think it's always, interesting, one thing to, after 3 games, of a sample size statistically, but I do think, obviously we want to tighten up in the yardage and kind of the ball control that some teams have been able to have on us, earning first downs, churning out yardages. Can we continue to tighten up? Can we continue to make it hard on people? And it all starts, in my opinion, up front, and then, our ability to activate, guys like Eric and Jordan Hicks and some of our safeties in the run fit, while having confidence that we can defend the play action pass, the keeper game, and being as competitive as we can, against the pass. I think it's yards, obviously, you guys have heard me say it, make them snap them one more time. That can be attributed to our defense making some stops, the 4th down stops, getting us the ball back for a chance to go win the game. But obviously we'd like to continue to progress and improve, and we're trying to do the same thing on offense. It's still early for our group, but as we build, can we just incrementally get better, solidify some things, and feel good about how we're going about attacking people.
You guys, started Josh and not Lucene the other day. What do you kind of say to Lou to keep his confidence up and that sort of stuff, since he obviously hadn't played a lot?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things for us and all of our young players. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We feel really good about all of those, what I consider all those guys to be impactful rookies moving forward. But the important thing for me is that we're doing everything we can along their development, some of which will be, getting them real tangible snaps and having that trust level of those guys, just like we do all of our guys. And I think Lou's in a place right now where he is having a major impact on special teams. He's been really dynamic there. Same with Brian. It'll be great to get Andrew back as soon as we can, and just let those guys continue to progress. And when the time is right, much like you saw, on a different timeline with Ed Ingram, you're seeing him play well and consistent, and we felt good about his ability to do that at that time. And it'll be the same way for those guys, all of those guys, and especially Lou. I'm really excited about the fact that they're Minnesota Vikings, and we're going to always do what's best for the player, looking at the long term for some of those young guys that we really feel like are going to be impactful for us.
Most days, it's the same routine. We head to work, to school, but some days...
Well, how do you handle a curfew, like a curfew Friday, Saturday night, with everyone talking about sleep and making sure you get all this? What kind of free time do you give them? What kind of curfew do you put on?
Yeah, I think it's important that they, a lot of guys' families are making the trip, and, it's a pretty unique opportunity for our team that we're really excited about. I mean, getting to play one of the international games, you definitely, want your guys to go enjoy the experience as much as anything. But we'll have curfews and kind of set by the day. Obviously knowing leading into the game, it'll be no different from any other game night before that we've had. But we'll have, time where they can make sure they know this is dedicated to spending time with your friends and family out there. And then ultimately know it's a work trip. We're going out there to win a football game against a team that we've got a lot of respect for, and we know it's going to be a challenge, 4 quarters grind of a game, and we're trying to do everything we can on our side. And key word is our. They know they're in it with us, and the plan is set in place for them, but also for them to take advantage of it and being smart and doing things for reasons that help them be at their best on Sunday.
Saints have a lot of continuity on defense, not just with Dennis Allen, but with guys like Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis. How does that maybe factor into how you approach going against that defense?
You just know that you're going to get a really good scheme. They're really well coached, and they've got really good players. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge. And we've played some good defenses so far, but I think this group is as good as any you'll see in the league, and they're aggressive, they're physical. We talked a lot to our guys just about the kind of challenge it's going to be. You see these guys defeating blocks, getting off blocks, making tackles. They compete hard when the ball's in the air. So a lot of the things that we're stressing to our guys, require them to go out there and compete like crazy, because it's going to be a physical, competitive, matchup against a team that wants to go out and win a football game coming off of last weekend. But our league is so week to week that we know we're going to see, we're going to get the Saints' best.
Kevin, is it for the Vikings brand internationally, playing overseas? I know the Vikings have a great international history, exhibition games way back when.
Yeah.
And this is the 3rd game in London since 2013.
Yeah, Chris, I think it's a big point. That's one of the reasons why it'll be my first time going over, obviously my first time going over as the head coach of this team. But, I've heard countless times, either through dialogue with you guys or, people in our building about, how special it is, the amount of fans we tend to have over there. We spend a lot of time, as an organization, thinking about those relationships and making sure that those fans over there feel very, very, a part of what we're doing, although they're not each and every Sunday at US Bank Stadium. Hopefully, we can create an atmosphere for ourselves this Sunday, even though we're technically the road team. But expecting to see a lot of purple out there, and we'll have some chance.
Okay, once again, that was Coach O'Connell. I'm going to say this. I'm going to put this in the screen. I'm going to say this about this trip. Look, that is a very special trip for these guys, going to London and all that. Because, look, the NFL is trying to expand their league internationally. whether they go to Canada, whether they go to Mexico, whether they go to Germany or wherever. Look, the NFL is going to be it's a worldwide organization with these football players. I mean, worldwide. They're not national no more. They're now worldwide. They want to go worldwide. I mean, like I said, with the Super Bowl, it's world champions. Yeah, that's it's a worldwide deal. So let's go ahead and give you a breakdown on the Vikings. I'm gonna switch this out, and we're going to give you the game breakdown.
I've learned some things over the years. Like the people you love mean more than points on the court. And being there for that team matters most.
Symetra Life Insurance Company. Retirement, benefits, life.
Okay, give it a second. We're waiting on the feed to load.
Welcome to Film Room with Coach Kevin O'Connell. And Coach, congratulations on the big win. We've got a few plays here that we're going to talk about, pick out. Can't wait to hear what went right for the Vikings this week.
Yeah, I think we've got a good trifecta of plays that really highlight kind of one of the big stories of our team and of the day. It was really kind of overcoming some adversity and making plays kind of within how the Lions were defending us or maybe attacking us defensively, and how we kind of combated that. But just taking a look at this first play, obviously coming off of a pass interference penalty where Justin Jefferson draws that on a 3rd down. Kirk did a great job getting this into a good protection there. This was the 1st and goal off that.
So that was the second quarter touchdown by Adam Thielen. Saying
what you're going to notice is they actually put in extra defensive linemen right here. So you'll see all those big guys with the hand in the dirt or in the turf there at US Bank. And the other thing you'll notice is there's really no safety back there. So this
is what they're talking about right here with the safety. There was no safety on this side. See, Kirk Cousins was in I formation. So that was an shotgun. Excuse me, shotgun. I get it mixed up. Shotgun. Apologize.
No, they're essentially playing a variation of some zero coverage right here. The other thing you're going to see is man alignments across the board. So when you see that type of these players across the board responsible for different parts of our eligibles in the formation, we really know that we've got a real opportunity to activate kind of a scheme here.
So one going to your right side. See, that's your motion man right there going to the right side.
Where you'll see Justin go and fake the toss. And if we restart this play, what you'll notice is what we noticed a lot at the US Bank Stadium the other day, as Justin's going to come and basically fake like he's...
So he's going to come around. This is Justin Jefferson on this side. He's going to come around on that side where that arrow's pointing at.
Toss from Kirk. We're in a formation over here where Adam Thielen and Johnny Munt look like they're going to be potential down blockers for Justin potentially getting this toss. Dalvin's over here in the plus alignment, we call that. But all we're trying to do is the illusion of complexity. If you think back to the opener against Green Bay, our first touchdown was on a very similar play where when you look at it, Justin did something very similar. He just ran straight. We ended up getting a pick, and we threw him the ball to the flat right there. On this play, we're trying to trigger the same response from the defense, thinking like, hey, this guy's just absolutely not.
So that's what the Saints is going to have to be aware of right there. When they get in those shotgun formations and when they go spread out their offense, wide receivers and stuff like that, you'll know they're going to be ready. They're definitely going to be ready. I mean, that's something you got to be aware of at all times. Last week, they wasn't aware of anything last week in the game against the Buccaneers. So, no, Carolina, excuse me. So, let's go ahead and play the video. So, I'm going to go ahead and
allow Justin Jefferson to the run to the flat. So what we think might happen is he may try to come off of this. As Justin runs like this, we think that corner will come off, and now will they have the communication, the ability to what we call pass off the next available player, which is Adam Thielen right here. You'll see Johnny Munt's going to run underneath Kirk with a great fake, and when you pause this defender right here is really in a bind. He's really in a bind because he doesn't know whether to keep running with Justin and potentially leave him open for an easy touchdown. You see this defender right here is trying to signal to him to no, you've got to stay back over there, but it's all happening in real time, happening in a...
So that's what he did. So to reiterate what he said, he was doing a fake right here, Kirk Cousins. So he was looking for that wide receiver. He found Thielen in the end zone. So that's what...
The hurry right here. Kirk does a great job setting his feet back to obviously Johnny Munt as number 1 right here, but then number 2 just happens to be that wide open player, Adam Thielen, in the back of the end zone, and it's really good to see.
So that was Adam Thielen
down there. Hard to get people sometimes in a low part of
so that was a good catch by Adam Thielen on that play. So that's the main person you got to watch at all time. This guy is very shifty. He can make some plays. Being the wide receiver that he is. So,
but when we can see Adam Thielen wide open like that, Kirk's going to find him.
And it's always difficult, I know this from coaching, is when you have a substitute defense. It's not something that you practice a ton.
Yep.
And that it's so difficult for a defense when you have an odd group in to cover everything.
Yeah, exactly right.
So that was a beautiful way of taking advantage of it and making them pass everything.
No doubt. And the next play we'll take a look at here. Now we're going to go to the defensive side. And I thought
let's go to the defense. Let's look at the defense. So this is what they did on this defensive play. So they're going to run their linemen right here. So they're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. That's going to be 7 linemen right on that box.
In the game where the Lions had a good plan for us early on.
So, but the play right here, that was a good play. Good run play right there. They just kind of...
they were doing some things in the run and pass game, kind of had us on...
Good defensive play right there. So that was on the 4th down stop. Hunter led the critical 4th down stop for Minnesota. So I look at it this way. You're going to have to block him. You're definitely going to have to block Hunter. Because if you don't block him, I'm going to guarantee you this. Those run plays that the Saints do, those little screen passes, that's not going to happen. They're going to stop those plays. So the best thing for us to do is to mix that run with the pass. You got to mix the run. I mean, you got to mix that run. If he's going to pass, he's going to pass. If he's going to run, he's going to run. I mean, you could throw it to Ingram or you could throw it to Kamara. Which way where it wins, it goes. So that's my take on it. So let's go over some more plays. I'm going to switch this over back to the screen.
The moment of a 4th down, 4th and 1. Obviously, Dan Campbell went for it multiple times in the game, and they were getting into these 4th and 1, 2 situations where, quite frankly, it's a tough group to defend with the physicality they play with in the run game. But what they're going to do right here is a very similar run that we ran a couple times just off of some different footworks, but they're going to basically... So
these are the 2 guys right here, Kendrick and Hunter. These are the 2 guys that they're going to be in those edge sides right there. They're going to be ready. They're going to be ready for the Saints. I mean, but the Saints, like I said, the offensive line has to block.
Kind of counter footwork the back. They're going to try to get double teams at the point of attack. You see these double teams right there. They're trying to get movement and get our guys all flowing this way. See if they can get everybody flowing down the line of scrimmage this way and open up a crease right back here where Cam Bynum's going to show up. But what they're basically deciding right here is we're okay leaving him one-on-one with Cam Bynum. But unfortunately for them, they had to deal with Danielle Hunter. And Danielle right here fighting a great stalemate fight versus this tight end. That's a very tough block for a tight end to make in space. But the other thing you're going to see from behind this kind of camera that Fox had blocking Eric Kendricks right there is you're going to see him show up as well. But what I thought was a huge part of this play, Daniil doing his job, Eric Kendricks, one of the best in football, showing up to be physical at that point of attack. But Cam, on a 4th and short, firing his gun, and although he didn't make the play right there, he fired in there and is at least able to make that run have to bounce ever so slightly before he gets back vertical upfield. And in that moment, here comes Eric Kendricks, here comes Daniil off the block, and then we end up with 4 or 5, 6 purple hats right there. And these guys were fired up at that moment. They were
ready.
Back. And we're able to go.
That was a good play. They were ready for that run.
And it's hard
the Lions
Daniil Hunter 2-gap
presented to them.
Not lose any yardage, meaning he pushed that tight end back, held the point, and was able to look inside and get back outside. So for Daniil being the first year in a 3-4, that's very, very encouraging that he's able to do that.
It's a great point, and I think it talks to what Mike Smith and those guys are teaching on defense, technique fundamentals, but using our playmakers at these positions where if 2-gap and you're asking a guy to do 2 jobs at once, be responsible for multiple areas, you got to win those matchups, especially when they're going to put a tight end over them like that. And then ultimately, as this kind of momentum building plays take place, we get into this 2-minute drive. There's about
so it's a 2-minute drive. So Osborne's another guy that you're going to have to be aware of because he's going to be the that wide receiver that's going to be the motion man, or he's going to go be set up to catch that football.
It's over a minute left. We use our timeouts kind of subtly there to try to save as much time at the 2-minute warning as we could. Defense got us the ball back.
He throws it. He's a pretty good catcher, Osborne. So Osborne caught a nice little pass right there for the game-winning touchdown. That was
and this was obviously the KJ
in the 4th quarter.
And this actually came off of a play where on the previous play we ran a variation just like this where Justin Jefferson, when you're really looking at this, Justin ended up running kind of a similar route like this just to try to peel open some space for KJ. All right, and then we come back and I
so Justin Jefferson came back and ran that route. I mean that was an exit in
talked about right before this drive started. KJ had just caught a ball, like I said, running across the field in a way where this defender had to chase him like that. So on this very next snap, we came back in no huddle mode and we activated a concept where now he's going to sell that exact same route, understanding that he's going to start down and then he's going to come out and be the top shelf. Adam Thielen's going to get right in his hip and be here. We'll end up getting this tight end out to the flat and understanding, like we talked about.
So that's a pretty good, to me, that's a pretty good assessment right there by Coach O'Connor, talking about the Minnesota Vikings plays.
There's Justin Jefferson, but what do you notice behind him like it was most of the day? You've got a pressed up defender with a half-field safety over the top of him, really trying to eliminate him from the plan.
So I'm going to run another play, so I'm going to give you another play in a second.
The route you just previously ran, you'll see this defender hop inside right there.
Yep.
He jumped inside, and what that did.
So it's a jump. So what this right here is the defender was in that area where the receiver was. So he and that was in the coverage right there. But it was a touchdown. Now let's go to another play. I'm going to switch this over. I'm going to scroll it to another play.
Extended hands right in his face, but to be able to
see if we got another play for you. Okay.
Didn't want to make note.
Looks like that's it for the plays.
They had, but Kirk Cousins knows there's going to be critical moments in the game.
So, okay, let's wrap this up. Okay, once again, thanks for joining us for the Saints game preview. The game will be on this weekend. We will have the game for you on YouTube. We're not going to be on Facebook because of the rules on there. So we're going to be on YouTube this Sunday around 9. So we will be on. If you want to come in on YouTube and watch the ball game, if you don't have a cable, or TV, you can watch it on with us. So once again, have a good rest of your Wednesday evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow for Southeastern Preview.